From the back side of the machine, you can really clearly see all the mechanical assemblies of the press brake. The hydraulic system up top is what I really want to draw your attention to now, but while we're here, you can also get a good look at how the box frame appears. In this case, you can really see how the frame of this machine actually wraps around the working area where the back gauge assembly here is. For the hydraulic system, the main motor is located up on the top corner there, and then you can see the hydraulic pump coming right off the end of the motor. Interesting to note on this machine, TRUMPF always includes an oil cooler on all of our hydraulic press brakes. In our mind, this is just a way to improve the overall durability of the machine, reduce the maintenance and operational costs. This is one of the big differences when you compare our entry-level press brake technology to anybody else's entry-level. Generally, that type of thing is going to be an optional upgrade, right? The hydraulic oil tank sits right behind the oil cooler. That's the big white painted box you can see there. And you can also see the drain port on the bottom of it for when you need to do your oil changes. That's not going to come up very often with this machine though, because we pre-fill all of our hydraulic press brakes with full synthetic hydraulic oil. That means this machine is ready to run for 20,000 hours of operation before you have to worry about the first oil change. For most users, that'll be 10 years or more of operation before you'd hit 20,000 hours on your hydraulic system. From the hydraulic system coming down, we'll step inside the machine and I'll show you the back gauges a little bit closer. You can also see the switch cabinet off to the far right there. The main power switch is here on the back side of the machine and the service key for allowing access to the power cabinet. We'll give you a look inside the switch cabinet as well so you can see the electronic layout of the machine. For now, let's step inside and take a closer look at the back gauge assembly. So I went ahead and climbed in the back of the machine here, and we brought our camera inside with us so you guys could get a good view. What I really wanted to show you primarily here is the back gauge drive system, because that's one part that's kind of hard to get a good look at from outside. In this machine, it comes equipped with a 4-axis back gauge. That's standard, and that's the only way that it comes. So you have 2 back gauge fingers. They have independent CNC control left to right relative to the operator. Moving in or out or up and down, they have to move in tandem, right? The whole back gauge assembly moves together. This is your primary point of maintenance on the machine. Since the hydraulic system is designed to operate for a very long time without maintenance, you do have some grease fittings wherever you see these drive rails on the back gauges. Those you're going to squirt some fresh lithium grease into periodically. And that's pretty much all you need to do on a regular maintenance standpoint on the back side here. One other thing that's kind of nice to look at while we're inside here is the cylinder assembly. One of the things that TRUMPF press brakes have been famous for a very long time is our spherical bearing cylinder mount. And this is true of all of our press brakes, from the 2000 series all the way up to our 5000 series flagship press brakes. Our hydraulic cylinders are mounted to the ram on a spherical bearing suspension. The idea there is this mounting point right here between the cylinder housing and the pressure plate, the ram of the machine. When we apply tonnage to that machine, obviously under certain circumstances, you may also need to apply a certain amount of tilt. It's very common, for example, if you're bending thicker plates where you have thickness variation from one side to the other, you need to compensate not just your pressure, but also your position, left side to right side. The downside to doing that with most press brakes is these hydraulic cylinders are not really meant to take radial forces on the cylinder walls. They're meant to take linear up and down pressure. They can take a lot of pressure up and down, but as soon as you start to tilt these cylinders and you apply side force, the seals inside there that cap the insides of the cylinders, they get worn out and destroyed. The visual indicator that you see that has happened on a lot of older press brakes is you'll get hydraulic oil actually weeping down the ram of the machine. That's from radial force applied to the cylinder seals that causes them to wear out and mislocate. So what we do is we put this whole cylinder on a spherical bearing. When you tilt the ram of this machine, these cylinders always operate parallel to the machine frame. They never tilt. The ram is actually allowed to roll on those round bearings. That's what allows us to have up to 1/4 of an inch tilt left to right on this machine and still press at maximum tonnage without putting any undue wear on the cylinder walls. Okay, I think we pretty well covered the mechanicals inside the machine. How about we walk around to the switch cabinet and I'll show you guys the electronics now.